So sorry about the delay, but we're group 67 and our name is NormTrack. My name is Adrian Chen. I am the product manager. We have Rudolph Sibyl and Nicholas Rader as development team member. And last we have Maria Carmona as the Scrum Master.
So for our project idea, we're focusing on the problem that the United States is currently experiencing, which is a rise in adult and childhood obesity. And the statistics provided by the CDC specify that approximately 42% of the US adult population and 20% of children had obesity between 2017 and 2020. And of course, this is a major issue because obesity can lead to other conditions such as type 2 diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and certain types of cancer, which are the leading causes for premature death. So our proposed solution for this problem is a diet tracker website that allows its users to track and manage their caloric intake. And by using NormTrack, users will be able to obtain dietary information, including calories and nutrients of each food they input into the website. NormTrack will also have a built-in BMI calculator, which will help users determine whether or not their weight to height ratio falls under healthy ranges.
So in this project, we will be using React Native for front-end and development, and we will be using Python, specifically the Flask framework for the back-end development. We will also be implementing Circle CI for our continuous integration and continuous development pipeline, Sona Cloud for testing the code before accepting the pull request. Jira will be used for project management, making sure everyone is on the same page about which section to develop during our development. GitHub is where we will be hosting our code. All new changes will come through the pull request and be tested by the Sona Cloud before merging into the main branch.
For the user stories, we're highlighting the 4 main and most common user stories for the 4 types of features that NormTrack will have. So for the first feature, we have searching feature, and the caloric content user story is that as a user, I want to search up the foods that I eat so that I can see their caloric content. For the personalizing feature, we have the custom meal user story that says that as a user, I want to input my own meals into the database so that I can track foods that did not result in a match after search. For the calculating feature, we have the BMI calculator that says that as a user, I want to calculate my BMI so that I can determine if my weight is considered healthy or not. And finally, for our filtering feature, we have the low calorie meal user story that says that as a user, I want to look for meals with the lowest calories so that I can lose weight.
And yes, now as an architectural design, we want to go with a monolithic architecture and a layered architectural pattern. We chose this because we have a single system software, and each layer provides service to the next higher layer. So for this diet tracker that we're creating, the first layer would basically be the front end, like the user interface, where the user will be inputting data and can search data, things like that. We want to just create as like a basic front end. Then after that, we're going to work a little bit on the back end to design the diet storing system. So when a user wants to input when they want to input like a meal that they had or something like that, we want to create a system where they can input that meal, and that meal would basically be saved to our backend. And also this also goes with the, like, we're going to do that for the diet and for like foods that they input. And next would be another front end where the user will be able to search up and load up common like foods, like I want to say like an apple or like spaghetti with meat, some things like that, that they are able to like look up the benefits of that food, like the protein, the calories, and etc. of that food. So we're going to create that part next. And after we create those, after we're done with those four steps up here, we're going to go into our product backlog, which basically would go from highest priority to lowest priority. And I'm not sure if we have it on the next slide. We do have it on the next slide. We don't have it in the next slides, but we will like it's coming up. But this is the next slide. So with wait, Nick, are you presenting this or?
Yeah, you can do risk management.
Okay, yeah,
You
yeah.
can go back a slide.
The risk management that we have is the first one is key team member, like this is actually crucial where like if a team member is sick and can't work on the project because they're sick, that's like a moderate probability, and it would be a serious because we need as much help as we can, as many hands as we can. And time is also one of the things that's one of the reasons that we have the product backlog, actually, just to maximize on time. And we're probably not going to be able to finish like implementing everything on the product backlog, but we have like the highest to lowest priority. So we can basically work on the highest priority, the ones that are going to make our app look good and more efficient. So, and time is one of the most, like the more serious part is because we don't have a lot of time. And propose changes to requirement that cause rework in major portions of features in code. This is something that's going to happen. We will run into coding issues where we can't do this or this, and we have to like recode a certain part of our software. And this is also a serious issue because we want to do the best work that we can. So we would have to rework if needed. Next one is team members face a critical bug in the development. This is also very important. We also will be using, I forgot the name of this, it's like Sonar Cloud or something, to basically analyze the code. So that's something that's going to help us find those critical bugs. And sometimes the bugs are easy to fix, and sometimes they're harder to fix. So that's also a serious issue that we would have to tackle. Next one is team members face difficulties learning new skills required for the project. For this project, we're using a front end React. I know for sure I've never used React before, and I'm pretty sure other members on our team hasn't used React. So things like that are things that we'll like face, not too much, but basically face a little issue at the beginning to just learn. And the last one is the complexity of the project. The complexity of the project is not that hard because there are similar projects to it. So if we needed like just understanding of the project, we can basically find help online because it's not a project that's like never done before. So that's something, yeah. So it's the effects are not as serious, but they're tolerable. Next slide.
So here's our product backlog. As Rudolph was saying, we prioritize the actual function of the website due to our constraints. So we have stories like, as a user, I want to search up the foods that I eat so I can see their caloric content. As a user, I want to input my own meals into the database so I can track foods that did not result in a match after search. And I want to see the total amount of calories I eat every day so I can track my diet. So those are our top 3 priorities. We have stuff like the UI towards the bottom. Obviously, that's still a priority to us, but we want to make sure that we're focusing on combating obesity, and the actual function of our website will be evident, and we want to focus on the functionality over the look and feel. But all of this will be made a priority in the end.
So for the first sprints, we will be completing 2 most important features. That is, users should be able to search up for pre-existing food in our database and see details about it. So this task includes finding a CSV file with the most information about existing products on the shelf, parse the file, and store all the information into MySQL database. And then we also plan to implement fuzzy logic for the search queries. So we're not just matching ones that is worded exactly like the user input. For example, if users search for Coke, then there is just regular Coke, but also Diet Coke. And we try to get both to show up in the user query. So in total, we estimated about 7 hours of dedicated work for this feature. Another feature we want to implement is a way for a user to add new food into the database. So we will prompt the user to input all the basic information about the food, the product, right, and store all the information in a separate database that is linked to user account. And in the future, when user attempts to search for food for product, contents in the user's personal database will also show up. And for this task, we estimated about 6 hours of work.
So in the beginning, when we started our project, we were unclear on what our focus was. And we just had a simple diet tracker because we thought, anyone can use a diet tracker. But then we were, it was made clear to us that we needed to focus on a specific social issue. So we decided that we could target obesity. And that's when we decided to add things like the BMI calculator and keep track of more nutrients like the fat content, sugar content. We decided to target it more on obesity. So that way we have a more clear goal. And our next step, our first step that we're going to take, as we said, would be to design the user interface first. We want to make sure that, it's navigatable and easy to use. And we're going to meet up every week and code on the website, try to get as much done as possible every week and make sure we scrum and organize and keep a good schedule going.
And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I like the idea. Obesity is definitely an issue. I appreciated how you guys kept it realistic, talking about how we're going to prioritize items, focus on functionality before the UI. Even if some of the product backlog items aren't completed, you can always put those off as stretch goals in the future, right? My only critique is that try to practice how you're going to hand off between other members. So it's not like, hey, can we go to this slide next? And that just comes with more practice and repetition. But overall, that was a good presentation. And yeah, so thank you guys, and you are free to leave.